HEA Radio. It's just after 2 o'clock. This is Clear Life Combat. My name is Gardy. I have a guest that's zooming in. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and we're going to get caught back up on everything that he has going on. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Mr. Gardy. This is Raymond Cardenas, or Everyday Ray on social media. And we have an upcoming fight for Fury 59, March 27th. Mark your calendars.
All right. So you excited to get back in the cage?
I'm super excited. Super excited. I've been training every day. So, yeah, I'm ready to get back in. I wanted a quick turnaround. So, I'm glad I was able to get on this card.
Yeah, and Fury's blowing up, and you've had the opportunity to fight a couple times before. I guess, what's your record, and how did things go for those fights?
Before MMA, I had a kickboxing record of 11-1. After I got my first loss, it was actually a TKO. The guy TKO'd me. I was like, hey, that wasn't so bad. I think, the worst thing that could happen happened to me, and it wasn't that bad. So I was like, okay, it's time to make the transition to MMA. I took two amateur MMA fights before I turned pro. I was 1-1. I won by rear naked choke, and I lost by rear naked choke. So I took my first pro fight in November of 2021. I was fighting a pretty game guy, a strong wrestler named Hickman. We ended up pulling out the first round knockout. So that was super exciting. I had my whole family, all my friends there. And we were the last fight of the night. So we were the swing bout. So originally we were supposed to be on the prelims, but it ran too long. So they needed to start the fight pass fights. So they put us after the fight pass fights. And my coach my coach was telling me, you're the real main event right now. So, I need you to get refocused, because they told us as we're walking out, like, hey, we're going to have to stop you, and you're going to have to be at the fight at the end of the night. So that was a whole new experience right there. But I'm glad we were able to stick to the game plan, get the knockout. And yeah. So,
that changes things a lot. Being the swing bout, you got to have to go with the flow, right? Is that a big switch up, or how'd you handle that?
Yeah, that was a big switch up. So we just prepared, we were hitting pads, we got warm. And as we were getting ready to walk out, they informed us that we were going to be the swing bout. So we had to wait there for another four hours and some change before we got to fight again. So we got to walk out, and I guess the anxiety, getting ready to walk out, and then them telling you to pause, and then you're gonna have to watch everyone's fight. But I found it kind of beneficial because I seen everybody go. I seen the good fights, I seen the bad fights, I seen people win, lose, and so after watching all the fights, I was super ready to go and fight. But I just knew that, win, lose, or draw, it was going to be a good fight. And, walking out, it felt just seeing and hearing everybody. And, towards the end of the night, the crowd kind of leaves. So I could hear all of my people. And that got me so fired up when I got in the cage. So, I'm kind of glad it worked out like that.
Mm-hmm. The last Fury fight that I was able to attend personally, it was Michael Aswell, and he ended up being the swing bout, which he kind of thought he was going in, and he said he's been prepared for those situations as well. Did you have any feedback from any teammates or anything like that on how to handle that?
Right. So Mikey's my boy, and his father, Michael Oswald Sr., is actually my manager, and they told me to be prepared for it. So in my head, it was kind of in the back of my mind, like, okay, so I could possibly be a swing bout. But I was so ready to get my pro debut over with. I was just, there's so much anxiety going into that fight. Yeah, but it was a good experience. So,
yeah,
I learned a lot.
Yeah. You said it was a first round knockout. Is there anything that you could have done to improve on that?
Yeah, I feel like watching back on the fight, I seen a lot of like little things that I could have done better. And so, I just jotted them down, took a mental note. And but as far as sticking to the game plan, we went against a pretty good wrestler, a strong jiu-jitsu guy. And he's fighting out of Alex Moreno's gym. So being able to stick with the competition and excel. You know,
Hmm.
that's the whole reason I'm doing this. You know, I want to fight the best people in Texas. You know, and I feel like especially with Fury, I'm fighting the best people in Texas. So you know, I just need to keep racking up those wins.
Yeah, as Fury gets bigger and their audience grows, I mean, there's no easy fights. Not that there ever was. Anybody going to the cage is, can be deadly, but there's no easy fights.
No easy fights, and we're actually me and my teammates were talking about this too. You know, there's I don't believe in like looking for an easy fight. You know, I feel like if you're gonna do this, you're doing this to be the best. You know, and if you're not doing it to be the best, you know, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Um, there's a few guys out there that I would really like to fight, but I don't want to push past my opponent that I have in front of me now. He's a real scrappy guy, so I'm full focus on him as of now. But you know, Texas and with Fury fighting for Eric. Um, yeah, there's a lot of talent, especially in the lightweight division, and it's just it's stacked.
Is there any tape or any video of the guy that you're fighting? Have you had a chance to check that out?
I had my coach. My coach seen a few of his fights. He's seen his last fight, and yeah, he's a good guy. You know, he's pretty good. It's gonna be a really good fight. You know, I'm excited because I feel like he's gonna stand and bang with me, and that's what I want. I want to sit there and it's an entertainment at the end of the day. You know, and I want to trade. I want to throw these hands. You know, and I know that he's not gonna back down. He's not gonna run. You know, so it's gonna be a good fight.
With your kickboxing background, going 11-1. What was the style for that? Were you going for the kill, for the knockout? Were you trying to just win rounds, or what did that look like for you?
I'm always going for the finish. You know, there's no reason to leave it in the judges' hands and you know, I felt like that's why my last fight in kickboxing I did get finished because I was going for the finish. You know, either live by the sword, die by the sword. You know, so
Yeah, and then you made that transition after getting that TKO. Was the TKO, I mean, part of it, or was MMA always the plan?
MMA was always the plan. While I was in the Navy, I got into jiu-jitsu. So I thought I was well rounded, you know, but I'm always building on my game. But the whole goal of it was always MMA. So yeah, building that record up, you know, it took time. And I honestly feel like I spent too much time trying to do kickboxing and build my skill set. But you know, I feel better now that I have built my skill sets. So if the fight goes on the ground, hey, I know I can either get up or wrestle or do jujitsu. If the guy wants to stand, I'm more than happy to stand and trade with somebody. So, you know, I feel pretty. It makes me feel pretty confident, you know, going into the ring.
The last time we talked, we were able to talk a little bit about the business and you running that family business and taking it and running with it. How is it balancing that work, business, entrepreneur life with the fighter lifestyle to be able to fight professionally?
It is so challenging, so challenging. Time. You know, I wish I had more time to do more things. But one thing I've learned so far is I can't control everything. So outsourcing, and then trusting people to do their jobs and trusting people to, you know, reliable people to help with the business. You know, my father had a lot of really intelligent business partners, smart guys. So if I ever have any problems or if I need something, I'll call and pick their brains and then see what I can do as far as helping my guys finish things with the certain jobs that we have.
Yeah, you mentioned about the Navy a little bit ago, and last time we talked, you talked about being introduced to grappling and jiu-jitsu and taking it from there. Looking back on being in the military, did that, I guess, lay like a solid foundation for everything that you've been able to accomplish thus far?
Definitely. It definitely so I was a kid when I went into the service. So it made me grow up super quick. I was stationed in Japan. I was far from home. I didn't come home for almost 2 years. I didn't come home. So I had never been away like that, but it did make me grow quick. And then being able to train with, we had Matt Brown and Todd Duffy and a few other high level UFC guys at the time come and train with us. And listening to Matt Brown's story and listening to Todd Duffy and these guys, man, it just made me fall in love with it. Like, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I knew that's what I wanted to pursue. And I remember Matt Brown was like, hey, man, if you're going to do it, you know, he used a little bit of vulgar language, but he said, you know, you got to do it, you know, don't stop. You know, the hardest part is showing up and just be consistent. You know, you may not be good now, but nobody starts anything and is great at it, or hardly anybody. You know, you got to consistently show up every day. And I think that's probably the hardest thing. You know, everybody has those driving to the gym like, oh man, you know, trying to find an excuse not to go. But when you go to the gym on days like that, I feel like that's when you get the best of your training.
You know, I agree with you. And I found the same thing with like diet and nutrition. It's like those temptations, like you walk past the donut and that's whenever you make a growth, or, you know, you kind of hit that next milestone in your goals.
Right. And the temptation is real because, you know, who doesn't love donuts, you know, like what?
Yeah. Was there anybody else that you were, you know, I guess in the military with, that also connected with you on that MMA or that passion of grappling that you've kept in contact with that also pursued this?
So I have a buddy named Flowers, and he's in Alaska. He lives in Alaska, and he's actually a pro MMA fighter as well. And he's a light heavyweight, and he's a phenomenal wrestler. And I remember him and my buddy Ron Smith, Stilo, the American Hero. But yeah, those guys were solid wrestlers. So they would show me just, you know, different techniques. And at the time, I thought I was good at jiu-jitsu. I definitely wasn't. But, you know, Flowers is pursuing MMA, and Ron actually teaches high school wrestling now. So seeing those guys, you know, they both teach and give back. So, you know, teaching, you know, I feel we all have that connection, you know, like, you know, we don't always talk all the time, but, you know, anytime we see each other, you know, those guys are my brothers for life. So.
Yeah. And you teach as well, right? Where do you teach at?
So I help teach at Active Jiu-Jitsu under Professor Dantino.
And is it a competitor's gym, or is it for beginners? Is it all over the place?
So it was a competition jiu-jitsu school when he first started, but Dantino absolutely loves MMA. So we started getting MMA fighters. My buddy right here, David Tren, Josh Van, there's myself, we got a good group of guys that we do no-gi and wrestling, and we work MMA. And Dantino is like the encyclopedia of jiu-jitsu. You know, he's been doing jiu-jitsu since he was 4 years old, from Brazil. He's a black belt under Upiano, and you know, he's so knowledgeable. So, you know, anytime he talks and like gives us lessons, you know, everybody just kind of shuts up and just listens and follows him. So, you know.
David Tran, I think I've seen him on social media. Does he have like a workout stuff that he does, like for lifting?
Yeah, he made weight cutting so easy for our group of fighters. He's so knowledgeable, amazing workout specialist. You know, this guy, just the stories that you know, people that come into his gym and then the results leaving. You know, David Tran is a awesome dude. You know, he'll get you motivated, get you fired up. He runs a great business, you know, and you know, he's the one who started telling us we needed to be more social on social media. We needed to be more active on social media, and just doing that and having my last fight, I've gained so many followers. So, you know, his recipes do work, definitely. So shout out to David.
You know, having that support and the audience and followers, now how important is that to someone like yourself pursuing this professional MMA career?
It's super important, you know, as you can see with like people like Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. You know, if you can put butts in seats, you know, you're going to be fighting, you know, win, lose, or draw. You know, if you can get people there, you know, and then the more tickets you sell, you know, obviously the better gate, so the better purse you'll have. And so it all works hand in hand. You know, you want people talking about you. Me personally, when I fight, I want someone to leave and say, "Oh man, that was the most exciting fight on the card." You know, like that guy, that tall, skinny Mexican dude, was doing some ninja stuff like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. So earlier you mentioned Joshua Van. He fights at 125, right?
yes, and he fights like 125, but that guy is as strong as like any lightweight. You know, that dude is powerful. You know, his knees, Lord. Yeah, yeah, he's so scrappy. You know, I love watching Josh fight. I love watching Jacob Silva fight. That's like, honestly, that's my favorite fighter to watch. I've been saying that since like 2017. You know, watching him fight. You know, anytime you fight with those type of guys, you know, real scrappy, tough guys, you know, you're gonna get a fight, and people are gonna get entertained by those fights. Those guys are just dogs, and yeah, they push the pressure, and you know, they don't back down. So yeah, I love watching those guys fight.
And Jacob Silva, I think he's scheduled to fight on that same card as you, Fury 59.
I think he's scheduled in April.
In April, okay.
Yeah, two other my teammates, Eduardo and Manny. So we'll be fighting on that card.
Okay, I saw Jacob Silva. He had put something out, so it must have been that Fury. He was signing a contract or something, and it was really exciting to. I just like I get excited by seeing those things.
Oh yeah, man, me too, man. I'm super excited for Adrian Yanez. He's our head coach at Metro Fight Club. You know, whenever he gets a fight, I'm super excited. That guy's so motivating too. You know, he was just like us. You know, working a job, going to train, coaching, and you know, seeing him doing his thing in the UFC, and then you know, he just had a baby, has a house, and he's so calm and composed. You know, and then he's knowledgeable. You know, he's been under Saul Solis. All these guys have been under Saul Solis for so long that you know, I was kind of the last guy, you know, to join, and you know, just picking their brains, and you know, there's like a grittiness, you know, like a toughness with these guys, you know. So
yeah, I guess with Adrian Yanez, he's kind of laid that blueprint right there, and you can see the work in the details and all the stuff that it takes to make it. I assume that has to be super beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. And then you got guys like Cameron Smotherman and Justice Torres and Oswell, you know. So when I first made the switch to the gym, you know, I was nervous, you know, it's a new gym, you know, and I knew some of the guys training there. And, you know, I see now the difference between super, super high level people and then like, you know, regular people who are trying to get into it. It's just the work. You know, there's no easy way around winning, or there's no easy way around preparing for a fight. You know, it's just the work. And I seen how much work these guys put in. Man, these guys are there every day, 2 times a day. If they're not there, they're, you know, it's just a lifestyle. They're consumed by it. Like my buddy Rafion Stotts was telling me, you know, just with his wrestling and seeing how knowledgeable he is, and when he's teaching us. You got to be consumed by the fight game, you know, if you're going to be successful in it.
Have you seen that Adrian has his own soap, has his picture on it and everything? I've seen him share it on social media.
What? No, I haven't seen that yet.
I think the brand is called Duke Soap, and they did like a fighter line, and the brand was saying, hey, it's the first like fighter soap, and there's like 5 or 6 different people, and it's called Duke Soap. And I was going to try.
Soap?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get me some to see if it makes me just better at life.
It's like the MJ drink on Space Jam, you know, but with soap. I know that he had a card. I know Dukes did a trading card, so they do trading cards for the fighters as well. So I knew he did that one.
Yeah.
But the soap, no, I didn't know about the soap.
It's like the old commercials, and this may be older than you remember, but Grant Hill drinks Sprite. It was these Sprite commercials. Grant Hill drinks Sprite. Grant Hill drinks Sprite. Everybody's like try to drink Sprite. It's like in the mid-'90s and stuff. But, hey, Adrian Yanez uses Duke Soap. I use Duke Soap, right?
I use Duke Soap, yeah. Say it smells like man right here.
Yeah. Okay, hey, so what are you working in your MMA? Is it your striking, trying to get better at striking, your wrestling? What are you working at in your game right now?
Right now, I for the most part, definitely striking. We have a really high level guy named Oliver Jimenez, and he's fighting in representing USA, you know, for the champ in Muay Thai. So being able to, he trains under it's gonna bother me that I can't remember his name.
I I know
Heritage Muay Thai.
Heritage. Yeah.
He turned, and Heritage is like the solid place for Muay Thai, and then picking his brain, but as far as training, jiu-jitsu, we have a lot of guys competing coming up, so we've been at active jiu-jitsu, just really working on no-gi jiu-jitsu. So heel hooks and knee bars, and it's a whole different game now than it was opposed like 6 or 7 years ago. So yeah, I think changing and adapting to the heel hooks or the 50-50 guards, and it's you definitely have to drill that, and drill it smart, because you don't want to hurt anybody, or you don't want anybody to hurt you. So we've been drilling a lot of that.
Yeah, it's easy to get hurt. It seems like, are you dealing with injuries constantly, as much as you have to train?
You know what? Every now and then you'll get a shiner. Thank you, Justice Torres, for punching me in the face. But yeah, you get shiners, sprained ankles or like jammed fingers, but what I notice is if you're tackling it 7 days a week, like hard 7 days a week, yeah, you're gonna get hurt, no doubt. I feel like Monday through Friday, you have to hit it hard. Saturday, maybe taper it down to training once, and Sunday, that's the recovery day. So I have a sponsored Better Days chiropractor clinic. He was actually a mentor of mine growing up. His name is Dr. Howard, and he definitely takes care of me. So anytime I have anything wrong, or any problems at all, I'll go see Dr. Howard, and he'll take care of me. So.
Yeah, I get to talk to some people, and they talk about active recovery, like even like just going outside or going for a walk or doing some things where you're trying to stay active but giving your body a little bit of rest.
Right. So I like take my shoes off, and take my socks and shoes off, and then like walk in the sand.
Yeah.
That's been super helpful. Or like do a little light jog in the sand. I found that to be so helpful. And then hot and then cold water. So just transitioning 12 minutes each. So get in the hot tub. You get your blood recirculating, and then breathing. Not everybody, as cliche as it sounds, not everybody knows how to correctly breathe. Especially when you're in the heat of everything. And I feel like that wears a big on your gas tank. So we practice breathing into our diaphragms. Exerting a lot of energy, and then trying to cut the rest time down. So instead of resting a minute in between rounds, rest 30 seconds to get your heart rate down in 30 seconds, opposed to a minute. That when you do have a minute in the fight, you get your heart rate down in 30 seconds, you got a whole another 30 seconds right there.
Mm-hmm.
And just those small little details, man, they make everything, all the difference in the world.
I got to talk to Roberto Jimenez, and he just recently won ADCC trials out there in Brazil, but he talked about earthing. He doesn't like to wear shoes. He said if there's somewhere where he doesn't have to wear a shirt, like in Brazil, he said like for trials and stuff, it's a lot of these places where they don't care. Have you heard of that? Is that what you're trying to do? I mean, you just kind of connect and be grounded with the earth, controlling your body and stuff?
Right. So my buddy Parker, he was he's a Greco-Roman wrestler, big jiu-jitsu guy, follows Roberto Jimenez,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, definitely. He's the one who was telling me about grounding myself. So he's like, instead of walking in the sand barefoot, go walk in the grass, go sit down in the sand, and practice your breathing. And then it relieves so much stress, doing things like that, especially if you've had a long week, working and doing, if you have a business or if you're training, that's itself is a business. It definitely relieves some of the stress off your shoulders, learning how to be grounded, but I feel like if you're going to be grounded, you leave the phone, leave everything, and go outside and be just outside by yourself with your thoughts.
Yeah.
That's like the major grounding right there.
Do you ever have time to do anything for fun? Outside of fighting, there's work in the business. Is there anything that you get a chance to do?
Man, honestly, not really. I don't know if you would. It's a hobby. I like cycling. And if I'm not doing that, I have dogs, so I love my dogs. They're like my children. I'm the only son to not have kids in my family, so my dog, I walk my dogs or hang out, go to the park. That's my downtime. What I do in my downtime. Uh, I'm a big comic book guy. Realistically, I have like 6,000 comic books, man. Like it's probably unhealthy, but you know,
What are
I
you
have all
into?
kinds.
What kind of comic books? And what was your first like that got you started too?
The first one who got me started is in DC. I was a big fan of the Flash, and then I was a big fan of Batman, and then I got introduced to Spider-Man, and then back then it was called the Uncanny X-Men. It wasn't the X-Men; it was the Uncanny X-Men. And what I got major into Spawn. So
Yeah.
when Spawn dropped, I got into Spawn, and then it was just after that I was collecting comic books. Anytime I would cut grass as a kid and go to the comic book store, buy comic books, and so I have a lot of comic books. Mainly right now, Marvel related, but DC I feel like is what kind of started everything.
Yeah. What do you like watching the comic book movies?
I do and I don't. Like I do because they try to keep the storylines and everything kind of together, but I don't like little things and I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
that didn't happen in the comic books, man. Like,
Yeah.
it hurts, when I see that.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. And the Batman just came out, but I've been seeing a lot of good reviews about it. I don't have a chance to go to the movies that much, but whenever I do find a chance, I'm gonna go watch that because people that are comic book fans and people who are DC, Marvel, just like fans of movies in general, everyone's saying it's good. Have you seen anything, or have you had a chance to see the movie?
I haven't got the chance to see Batman, but I have seen all the other Batmans.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how Robert Patterson did at Batman. I was a Ben Affleck fan for Batman or Michael Keaton.
yeah.
But I got to see it. I really do. I'm super interested to see, how good he played a Batman. I was a little disappointed that he wasn't like super jacked,
Yeah.
but yeah, I heard a lot of good things about it. But let me ask you something. Who was your favorite Batman character?
I gotta say, I think Christian Bale.
Christian Bale?
I
Okay.
think so. Yeah, because whenever those superhero movies came out, it was right whenever like the Marvel started getting relaunched and comic book movies started changing. Because whenever I was a kid, the Michael Keaton one, and then
Yeah.
after that, those were great. But then it got too comic booky, and then
Yeah.
Spider-Man came out with Tobey Maguire, and then it was like, hey, this is cool, but it was still really comic booky. And then after that, the Batman series, Batman Begins, and all that, and it was like, wow, this is cool. It's a little bit darker.
Right. That's
Yeah,
exactly what I was thinking. It's a little
yeah,
bit darker, especially the Joker, the villains.
yeah.
So who would your favorite villain be, across the board?
Across the board,
Yeah,
man.
across the board.
So growing up, I was a big Superman fan. Like I got introduced to comic books back whenever Grant Hill started drinking Sprite. So 93, 94, whenever it was the death of Superman, like that was on the shelves. I was in the third grade, and one of my friends like handed me a comic book, The Death of Superman. So I went back and started reading all that stuff. And then the series Smallville came out. So I'm gonna have to say Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
He's underrated. He's an underrated super villain. But I think I like him. I think Vandal Savage. I think he was pretty cool. But as far, I would have to say, I don't know if the Punisher is a good guy or a bad
Right.
guy.
Yeah.
Because he does both. So growing up, I was like, oh man, the Punisher, like he's the ultimate guy. He has no superpowers like Batman, and he beats everybody up. So that was like huge for me. The Punisher was like the guy.
Yeah, the anti-hero, like you never know how they're gonna play. It's like even like to a lesser extent, but it's like Catwoman, kind of bad, but sometimes good. Just don't know how it's gonna go.
I used to get confused all the time between Catwoman and they're two Marvel and DC characters. So they're both the Cat Lady. And I would always get them
Oh yeah,
confused.
yeah, yeah. There's only so many ideas, and it's hard to come up with fresh ones. So they just kind of like recycle each other.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay. For a superhero wise, who do you closely relate to, like the most? Even if you could pick that superpower or pick someone's superpowers, who would you pick?
If I had to say who it'd probably be I think it'd probably be Spider-Man mostly. Spider-Man, we kind of have a similar story. You know, I didn't grow up with my parents, and you know, he didn't grow up with his parents. He grew up with Aunt May and Ben, and Ben passed away. You know, my father passed away, and I feel like I related a little bit to Spider-Man.
Yeah. Plus, it's cool because he's just like a normal dude. You know, like he looks like a normal dude, very unsuspecting, and then obviously he turns it on and he's freaking Spider-Man, right? So that's
I,
pretty
I
cool.
also like that he's so corny. You know, he'll say the corniest things. Did you say that?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, there it
Yeah,
goes.
he would say the corniest things, you know, like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Then boom, he just ruined the moment saying something. So, and I feel like I'm kind of awkward like that. I would
Oh man, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so earlier I was talking to someone and they were saying how they hadn't done that many interviews before, and so they recently were in a jiu-jitsu competition. It was a team event, and then afterwards she kind of sealed the victory, and so someone put a mic up to her face and she was like, I don't know what to say because I've never been in this situation before, especially you know, it's a highly emotional event, and then you get somebody sticking a mic, and so that's an opportunity to say something super crazy. You know, have you envisioned those moments, you know, in your career?
I definitely like to visualize everything. So I
Yeah.
like to visualize the walkout, from the walkout song to the 3 rounds to them holding my hand in victory. And so with the last fight, I kind of did that, visioned everything out. And at the end of the fight, they were going to give me the interview. I was so emotional. It was the first fight my father wasn't able to attend. And I completely blanked, and I was like, I'm trying not to cry. So
Yeah.
I was like, I bombed that interview. You know, they're probably not going to interview me with Fury. You know, they think I'm weird or awkward or something.
No, yeah, I can't even imagine, you know, being put in that situation and just having to say something. So that's why it's almost so important to visualize just like anything and everything, and then kind of get down what you're gonna say. But yeah, when it comes down to it, it's like here's your moment, right? So
Yeah, here's your moment. Go ahead, say something, and then you see it in the UFC too all the
oh
time. You know, people just say the weirdest stuff. You
yeah,
know, but like you said, it's such a intense thing. You know, you just got finished fighting for however long, and you have all these emotions. It's a tricky spot. You know, I
yeah.
feel like the guys who are really good at saying things after. You know, those are the guys that people follow a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, and you look at Joe Rogan, they started memeing the moment where he's like sitting down talking to Conor McGregor, you know, after after he lost, and he's just like, what does he say? It's like, dude, he just snapped his leg in half, and then he sticks a mic in there, and what's he saying? Does he even know what he's saying? Right? You know?
And then you have like media gold because Conor McGregor just started spewing stuff, and I thought I heard Joe Rogan say he doesn't interview fighters after they've been knocked out, but at the end of every fight this guy's interviewing fighters, and it's like, dude, you said you weren't gonna interview these guys.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. It's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. So, all right. So here's just a reminder. Ray Cardenas is going to be fighting for Fury FC. That's March 27th. It's Fury 59. Ray fights out of Metro Fight Club. You know, if you want to go and watch that, I highly recommend you get tickets. And then I think you can go get those on the website and even select like your name as a fighter, right?
Yes, sir. You can get them on the website. Probably be the easiest, or
Mm-hmm.
tickets in hand. But March 27th, mark your calendars. We're going to be at Escapade 2001.
All right. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited for it. And that's going to be on UFC Fight Pass. And I think some of the prelims and stuff are going to be on Facebook usually. So make sure you check those out. Ray, is there anything else you would like to share today?
I want to just give a big shout out to a few of my sponsors, my buddy Chino and Giovanni with Space City Collective. I'd like to give a big shout out to Mike Tracy with Third Coast Grappling Mats, and then Michael Oswald Sr. For Oswald Management. Dude, thank you so much, big guy. I absolutely love you, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for hanging out today. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, man, for having me.
This